Since I kept track of the Super Champions in Season 38 of Jeopardy and the 4-day Jeopardy Curse contestants, I thought, why not take a look at its final week? Before I actually do, I want to take a look at the episode that aired on Alex Trebek's birthday, since it happened to air the week before the last episode of the season. Would have been too soon to end it, yet it would have been the most appropriate. Now, given that it was Alex Trebek's birthday, you'd think Ken Jennings would have acknowledged it. Instead, Ken Jennings' introduction was, on yesterday's game, Space Camp veteran and amateur astronomer named Emmy Trammell was trailing the lead practically throughout the whole game until Final Jeopardy when the stars aligned. She happened to draw constellations after category and was the only player to come up with the correct response, making her a Jeopardy star herself. Then he introduced Carla and Goonan before declaring he's getting into the round. I just don't get it. This is the second year after Trebek's death when his birthday fell on a weekday. After all, Ken acknowledged it was Star Wars Day on Mateo Roach's 22nd game. Speaking of stars and constellations, I do like that Emmy's sweater matches her hair and how her personality is as bright as a star. Of course, I admire Ken's festive preambles. I just don't know why he wouldn't acknowledge Alex. I might as well get into the game now. Carla got the daily double, wagered $1,000, got it right, and went to $4,200. Carla mentioned she and her best friend visited Gettysburg and made it back to their place in time for Carla's Jeopardy audition. This will be funny once we get to Double Jeopardy. Carla ended the first round winning $6,400. Emmy was in second place at $2,600, and Goonan was in third place at $2,000. This term for Northerners opposed to the Civil War likened them to snake on the grass. After no one buzzed in, Ken commented, apparently not answered at the Gettysburg battlefield. These were copperheads. I always find it funny when a question comes up in the same episode as when it's the subject on one of the anecdotes. Some viewers found it strange that Matt answered, what is, even when the answer was a person. Meanwhile, I found it strange when Carla answered, where's Florida? Carla got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy, wagered $2,000, got it right, and went to $16,400. Goonan got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy, risked $4,000, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to $1,600. Emmy ended Double Jeopardy winning $5,800. Goonan was in second place at $7,600, and Carla was in lead at $17,600, exactly $10,000 more. The Final Jeopardy category was inaugural balls. I don't know what that could mean. The question was, at the 1993 Tennessee inaugural ball, Paul Simon performed this song, his most recent top 40 hit. I couldn't think of anything. None of the contestants answered correctly. When Carla's answer was revealed, Ken told her, that is a Paul Simon song, and it's a banger. Oh, what? The answer was, you can call me Al to honor Al Gore as vice president. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. Carla risked $1,000 and went down to $16,600 and won that game. I kind of miss Emmy already. Ken introduced Monday's game, saying Carla traveled to Gettysburg before her Jeopardy audition and won the battle. Angela got the first daily double. Originally made it a true daily double since she had $400. Then Ken reminded her she can bet up to $1,000, so she did $1,000. And it paid off since she got it right and went to $1,400. Danny Tanner on 2 TV series. After Carla answered, who is Bob Saget? Ken said, yes, the late Bob Saget. I have a long video I'll be producing soon about his death. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. I didn't know that type of donut had a name. It's called an old-fashioned donut. Ed ended the first round winning $5,000. Angela was in second place at $3,600, and Carla was really close behind at $3,400. Ed got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy, wagered $2,500. I was able to recognize it was Homer. Ed answered Homer and went to $13,900. This usually spicy pickled cabbage is a national dish of Korea. Carla answered, what's kimchi? And I'm surprised Ken didn't say anything like, yeah, growing up in Korea I saw that a lot or something. Carla got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy, risked $4,000. She didn't know, so she was funny and answered, what did you get a car? Ken and the audience laughed. She went down to $5,000. I didn't know Oprah coined the term aha moments. Yeah, I think I first heard it in 2009, and it wasn't from her. Angela ended Double Jeopardy winning $10,000 even. Carla was in third place at $7,000 even, and Ed was in the lead at $18,700. The Final Jeopardy category was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The question was, honored in 1998 as a part of a rock group, and in 2019 as a solo artist, this singer was the first woman to be inducted in the hall twice. The only woman in a rock group I can name is Joan Jett. For the second game in a row, None of the contestants answered correctly. And Jeopardy fans were also major rock fans and were highly critical that Carla answered Beyonce and Angela answered Gwen Stefani. Since Gwen might have been my first celebrity crush, I don't know if I should feel as insulted as the rock fans did. When Ed answered Tina Turner, Ken told him she'd since been inducted and it was actually Stevie Nicks of Fleetwood Mac who was inducted 2 years before. Ed risked $1,301 and went down to $17,399 and won that game. The overheard on set was titled, "Look at the big music brain on Ken." Ken was saying the other options came up this morning before saying Stevie Nicks was the first and Gwen Stefani must be getting close. Ed told him, "I'm surprised you know all this." Angela told him, "It's Ken Jennings." Then Ken mentioned the Clue crew who rates these questions who are much smarter than Ken himself. That's how he put it, at least. Ken Jennings introduced the next game just saying Ed won despite missing Final Jeopardy. Alexa Jacob, that name is so close to former Jeopardy champion Alex Jacob. Ed got the first daily double immediately after the mini anecdotal interviews. He wagered $1,000, got it right, and went to $4,000. Jennifer Jason Leigh was the title Mrs. in a movie about this writer and her vicious circle. The answer was Dorothy Parker, who was the answer in one of Maureen O'Neill's Final Jeopardy rounds. Nobody answered the last question of the first round. Alexa was in third place at $2,800. Mark was in second place at $5,000 even, and Ed was in lead at $7,200. Alexa got her daily double immediately at the start of Double Jeopardy. After Ken told her she found it right off the bat, she said, "Cool." She unfortunately answered wrong and went down to 0, so it wasn't so cool.
He got both daily doubles.
Ed got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy. He risked $2,000. Unfortunately, didn't answer and went down to $8,800. Ed ended Double Jeopardy winning $16,000 even. Mark was in second place at $11,400, and Alexa was in third place at $4,800. The Final Jeopardy category was literary animals. The question was, this children's book character introduced in 1926 and a friend of the title creature gets his name from the sound he might make. The comments section spoiled it because one of the comments shows when you're on a handheld device, even when you're not intending to see the comments. Based on the comment I saw, I wasn't able to properly guess and knew it would have been Eeyore. The answer was Eeyore. Ken explained, yes, Winnie the Pooh's donkey friend. If you say his name in a British accent, it sounds like Eeyore, Hee-ah, Eeyore, Hee-ah, like a donkey would say. That's really a stretch. Mark and Ed answered correctly. When they got to Ed's answer, Ken said, looking a little gloomy like Eeyore. Ed wagered $6,801, taking his final score to $22,801 and a 2-day total of $40,200. After he won, Ken told Ed, there you go. A smile, you're not an Eeyore, you're a winner. Probably the most encouraging tone I ever heard from Ken. The overheard on set was titled, Get Good at Final Jeopardy with This One Simple Trick. Ken mentioned the players have a few minutes before a commercial break to think of all the possible guesses from seeing the category. Alexa called it the blind guess strategy. Ken Jennings' introduction the next game was, it seems the pandemic preparation done by our champion, Ed Colson. The long hours spent playing Family Zoom Jeopardy has really paid off. He's now won 2 games and upwards of $40,000 in winnings. But who knows what sacred COVID-era preparation Colleen or Brianna have up their sleeve. Since Ken phrased the preamble this way, I remember when I looked up, is Jeopardy getting easier? I came across a Reddit post. A few people suggested it was because of the pandemic. The super champions had more time to prepare. One user even suggested it was because they don't have kids. So how would that explain Ryan? Mark Edo Edmondson in 1976 is the last men's singles winner of this major who's from the country where it's played. I felt bad for Ed because he just answered Australia. Brianna answered Australian opening. They needed the event. Even this Tolstoy heroine thinks it's weird that her husband and lover are both named Alexei. The answer was Anna Karenina. I know that was the answer in one of the questions in the Professor's Tournament, and it was the answer to one of the questions in Amy Schneider's 27th game. What I didn't mention either time is that Anna Karenina came up the day Nancy Donauer lost, aka Tyler Rhodes' first game. Brianna got the daily double, wagered $1,500, got it right, and went to $3,500. In the mini anecdotal interviews, Colleen mentioned her dog has more followers on Instagram than she does. This will be funny once we get to Double Jeopardy. First and last name of the woman in a tongue twister who bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. I felt bad for Colleen because she buzzed and answered Betty. She blanked out when Ken asked her to be more specific. In 2020, it was back to Midgar in this Game 7 remake. Colleen buzzed and answered finals fantasy and corrected herself after Ken already told her she was correct. I'm glad she was able to correct herself because the judges would have later deemed it incorrect. I was also wondering which game it really was since the American releases ignored the missing Japanese sequel to Final Fantasy. Also, Final Fantasy, Final Jeopardy. One of the questions was social media related. I lost hours on this site, the leading destination for short-term mobile video. Fittingly, Kesh is a creator. After Colleen buzzed and answered, what is TikTok? Ken brought up Colleen's dog is probably a huge TikToker. SecretRickroll.com allows my annoying friend to create sneaky links to Rick Astley singing this song. I always fall for it. The answer is obviously Never Gonna Give You Up, the song Mateus said she sang on her 22nd game. Colleen ended the first round winning $2,000. Ed was in second place at $3,600, and Brianna was in the lead at $8,700. I actually like how much fun Brianna appears to be having. 2 of the Double Jeopardy categories form the phrase BC and AD. Double Jeopardy was interesting. Here's why. Ed got the first Daily Double in Double Jeopardy. He made it a true Daily Double, got it right, and went to $8,000. Colleen got the second Daily Double in Double Jeopardy, risked $3,000, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to $8,200. The second question in Double Jeopardy was the first Daily Double, and the second to last question in Double Jeopardy was the second Daily Double. Other than the fact that it's second and second to last in Double Jeopardy, I don't think I've seen the Daily Doubles found this far apart in the game. Nobody answered the last question in Double Jeopardy. Colleen was in third place at $8,200, Brianna was in second place at $14,700, and Ed was in lead at $17,600. The Final Jeopardy category was Real People in Poetry. The question was, Milton wrote of this contemporary, when by night the glass of him observes imagined lands and regions of the moon. The reason I couldn't get this is because I only thought of other writers. Looking at the question further, I can now see how the answer was Galileo. None of the contestants answered correctly. Brianna risked $3,000 and went down to $11,700. Ed risked $11,800, which is 11 more than Brianna's final score, and went down to $5,800. Brianna looked surprised when she won that game. I'm really glad she won. The overheard on set was titled, Time Flies When You're Having Fun. Ken congratulated Ed for his 2 games, then told Colleen how well she did in Double Jeopardy, and told Brianna she gets to play again. I came to have a fun adventure, and suddenly it's become an even more fun adventure, I guess. She really is a fun player. In contrast, Ed said he was just as nervous as when he started. Ken mentioned playing 90 games and asked, why doesn't this go away in the last few games, before saying, it goes by in the blink of an eye. The anecdote ended after Ken brought up skydiving and landing. The audience laughed after Brianna said she's really short and landed on her face. I really liked Brianna's reaction when Johnny Gilbert introduced her and on Ken Jennings' preamble. Ken Jennings' introduction was, our returning champion Brianna Barker shared at the end of yesterday's show that she just came here for a fun adventure. She laughed. She never expected to leave as a Jeopardy champion. Perhaps the perfect SAT score was an early indicator of just how strong a player she would be. Today we welcome 2 new challengers to the game in Heidi and Katrina, another ladies' night, and the final one of the season. Brianna ran the You Call Yourself a Fan category. Unfortunately, as she did, Katrina buzzed in and went in the red. I did like Ken's comment though. The Cameron Crazies are students who show undying support for this university's Blue Devils basketball teams. Katrina answered UMC after Brianna answered Duke. Ken told them, yeah, Katrina's not making many friends at North Carolina right now. Brianna and the audience laughed. In 2020, Taylor Swift had a #1 song named for this clothing item. Brianna buzzed in and answered, what is a cardigan? The reason I highlight this is because the week before, there was another Taylor Swift question. After I typed that, I just noticed there were 2 Taylor Swift questions in the time span of a week. The question was, and I'm just like, oh, you need to just stop. Like, can you just not step on my gown? Nobody buzzed in. When I first saw the question, I wouldn't have been able to tell you the song. Now that I see You Need To and Gown, I can't believe how obvious this is from the song You Need to Calm Down. I probably have Swifties who are subscribed to me. Feel free to tell me how disappointed you are in me in the comments. To further disappoint, I didn't know the cardigan question either. Brianna got the first Daily Double, risked $2,000, unfortunately answered wrong, and went down to $5,000. Brianna did the first round winning $7,400. Katrina was in second place at $3,000, and Heidi was in third place at $2,800. Seaweed is a good source of this element, an essential micronutrient. After Brianna buzzed and answered, what is iodine? Ken told her, yes from the biology professor. The students are really lucky to have her as a professor. On July 4th, 1862, he panicked with Alice Liddell and her sisters, so it could have been Edith or Lorena in Wonderland. Heidi answered, who are Charles Dodgson or Lewis Carroll? Ken told her, either is correct. So there were two possible answers in one of the questions. The next question was the first daily double in Double Jeopardy. Heidi wagered $2,500, and it was one of the easiest daily doubles. I haven't said that in a while. A 1903 courthouse in this state is preserved as a museum because as a young girl, Harper Lee watched her dad argue cases there. The answer was Alabama. That took her to $5,700. Katrina got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy. Since the category was plant parts, Katrina said, I don't like it, so let's do $2,000. She answered correctly and went to $12,200. After she did, Ken told her, see, you didn't have to worry. Heidi ended Double Jeopardy winning $7,300. Brianna was in second place at $13,800, and Katrina was in lead at $20,200. The final Jeopardy category was countries of Europe. Technically, this could have been countries of the world. The question was, it's the only independent survivor of the Spanish March, buffer states created to protect Christian Europe from the Moors. The answer was Andorra. Yes, Charlemagne is credited with establishing what we now know as a tiny little country in the Pyrenees between France and Spain. Heidi and Katrina answered correctly. Sorry, Brianna. Katrina wagered $7,401 and took her final score to $27,601 and won that game. I miss Brianna already. Now for the season finale, let's see who advances to season 39. After thanking Johnny Gilbert, Ken Jennings' instruction was, welcome everyone as we prepare to wrap up the week and the season. Our three players are anxiously awaiting finding out which of them will spend the summer as a reigning Jeopardy champion. Will it be Katrina, who had such a payday yesterday, or will it be one of our challengers, Darren or Luigi? In 30 minutes, my friends, we are going to know, but for now, let's play Jeopardy! How suspenseful. This was also confirmed to have been Ken's last game introduced as hosting Jeopardy! Take in different flavors of this island by reading some Pirandello as you eat glorious food in its capital of Palermo. I felt bad for Darren. He buzzed and answered, what is the Sicilian Peninsula? Which was incorrect. The answer was just Sicily, which Luigi answered. Take in different flavors of this island by reading some Pirandello. I felt worse because the very next question was the daily double. Luigi made it a true daily double, got it right, and went to $3,600. The animators counted, in this film, Carl Fredricksen's house floats thanks to 10,297 balloons. The answer was, what is up? If Darren thought quickly, he could have said, what's up? I'm sure if Maya was hosting, she would have added, yes, what's up, Darren? Similar to when she said, yes, hello, Tony. This also aired the month before the anniversary of Ed Asner's death, who did the voice of Carl Fredricksen, a video I hope to release soon. I said the same thing months ago. Take the L out of a beer league sport in an alley, and you get an act of showing respect. Luigi Buzzin had just answered, what is bowing? Then as Ken decided it was wrong, Luigi corrected himself, what is bowling bowing? So he got it in the nick of time. Luigi mentioned he dreams in foreign languages in the anecdotal interviews. This will be important for later. Luigi ended the first round winning $6,800. Darren was in third place at $2,800, and Katrina was barely in the lead at $7,000. One of the Double Jeopardy categories was mashed up sitcom titles. Let's see how much fun this is. Father Knows Geeks. Darren buzzed in and didn't answer. Then when no one else buzzed in, the answer was Father Knows Best and Freaks and Geeks. I feel really bad that almost no one knows what Father Knows Best is. It's ancient. I wonder if Ken knew Will and Greg. Katrina buzzed in and answered, what is Will and... oh shoot. Darren buzzed in and answered, what is Will and Grace and Dorm and Greg? King of Theory. Of course, one of them would be the Big Bang Theory when Mayim's not hosting. Darren got the first daily double, risked $2,000. Unfortunately, didn't answer, and went down to $5,200. I knew the answer was Anne Boleyn.
He got both daily doubles.
Darren almost got a back-to-back daily double. He wagered $3,000, and Alex Trebek was mentioned in the daily double. She's a heroine of Wuthering Heights, and Alex Trebek loved to imitate Laurence Olivier, repeating her name. The answer was Catherine. Luigi answered, yes, Kathy Earnshaw, or Kathy. Alex was always saying. I tried looking up Kathy Earnshaw, Alex Trebek, and couldn't find any clips. This was a beautiful last daily double this season. Perhaps the reason this wasn't the daily double last week on his birthday was because they wanted to end this season this way. I kind of wish this was a Daily Double when Alex was hosting, though I'm sure it would have just been, she's the heroine of Wuthering Heights, as the question. All that being said, Darren got it right and went to $9,000. The kid isn't really escaping from the picture frame. It's this style meant to fool the eye.
Luigi, what is trompe-l'oeil?
And Ken told him, that's correct, this is just like one of your dreams, because he dreams of foreign languages. I felt bad for Darren again. Works from seminal Aboriginal artist Albert Namachira were celebrated in 2002 by the National Gallery of this capital. Darren buzzed and answered, what is Australia? When the answer was Canberra, which Luigi also answered correctly. Luigi ended Double Jeopardy winning $20,800. Katrina was in second place at $11,800, and Darren was in third place at $11,000 even. The final Jeopardy category was tech history. The question was, for about 20 years after its invention, it had few practical uses. Then suddenly, it revolutionized grocery checkouts and home audio. I guessed the microphone just because of home audio. Now that I see few practical uses, I can see why that's wrong. The answer was laser, which all three contestants guessed correctly. Darren wagered $2,994 and went to $13,994. Katrina wagered $9,001 and went to $20,801 and was barely in the lead by $1. Luigi wagered $2,601 and won $23,401. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. An anagram of numbers. Season 38 ended on a high note. I hope you enjoyed this longer video. I have no idea when I'll release this. We'll see Luigi in September for the premiere of season 39. And boy, what a season this one was. Alex would have been so proud.
And as always, thank you for watching.